Hello, everybody. Okay, for Thursday, we had a lot of storylines here, so I'm gonna break it down. Um, well, um, Tracy and Alan, I don't think are gonna get married right away because Alan may not be Alan, and I say that because he might be Martin. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this, and a lot of people say that no, Martin unalived. So it's Alan, but Alan is a bad guy. So I don't know. But one thing I find a little interesting is everybody is like, okay, because Tracy was talking to Jack, her brother, and saying, um, I'm really worried about Alan. I don't know if he really is the person he says he is, all this stuff. And then he says, oh, don't worry, I'll keep your confidence. Okay. Little hiccup there because somehow everybody in that family, the Abbott family, is very perceptive because everybody was like, is everything really as good as you say with you and Alan to Tracy? And then Kyle was talking to Jack, so father and son, and he says at the end of it, because they had talked about the another guy, Matheson, who works for Abbott, but they're concerned that he's a spy for Victor, right? So after that, he says, "Well, Dad, I think I know you for a long time, and um, I, I saw your body language, and you were tense, and you were talking to Tracy, and you've been looking at your phone like you're waiting for bad news. So what's going on?" And he had to assuage his fears and say, nothing's going on yet, but yeah. So there's that storyline. Okay, now, um, the Dumas character, we might get a little insight into who that is. It might be Tucker McCall under another alias. Now, the reason why it fits and the reason why when they said it, I was like, oh, okay, instead of what? Okay, there's a couple things. Um, Tucker McCall is very educated. He gives off the air of being very educated, which means I would think he's really into literature, which, goes into he might have read The Count of Monte Cristo and taken the name after the author, right? And also, he does like French things. So then that also ties into glissade or something. So that's that connection. So see, if you make it all like, if you don't think about it too hard, you can say, okay, it makes sense. Now, it also makes sense because a little back history. Tucker McCall was played by the wonderful Trevor St. John. Tucker McCall mysteriously left because Trevor St. John got another deal to do another side project. So apparently they left the door open, which they do from time to time, if the actor or actress, but in this case actor, decides to come back. So what if they had a meeting with Trevor St. John and said, "Oh, okay, we have a deal for you," and made sure he was done with his side project, but also said, "Okay, you don't want to play Tucker McCall anymore. What if you play another character under another alias?" I mean, that might be interesting because really, Trevor St. John is really great, and I'd like to see if he has versatility because I've seen him play a nice guy. Because remember, he was Todd Manning on One Life to Live, which is now defunct, sadly. But then also he played a bad dude before he played Tucker McCall. So he has range. But I'd like to see what else he can do. So yeah. Okay. Also, having to do with Victor, Michael is his lawyer, has been his lawyer for decades, right? So apparently, Victor asked him to do stuff that's off the cuff sometimes, and Lauren, his wife, doesn't want to get involved in their dealings, but she does know her husband, and she's worried about his safety and kind of mental health in a way of she doesn't want him to be feel anxious and feel like he needs to prove himself to Victor. So all that stuff I get. So it was very interesting today. Very interesting. And tomorrow's Friday, so tomorrow's gonna be really good. So all right. Bye guys.